I lay in my bed. I'm Molly Thibault from Southport Island, Maine. I lay in my bed, sound asleep, in total bliss, but I know I will be soon. My dad comes into my room and jumps on my bed with my dog Odie and says, "Get up, get out of bed," in a sing-song voice. The time is 5:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. I get dressed, grab my boat bag and some breakfast, and we get into the truck and drive to the dock. I carefully walk down the runway and jump into the boat. The tide has reached its lowest point, and the roadway is very steep. I put down my stuff and get on my oil gear. Yes. I get on my oil gear and pull on my boots. Pull on my mud boots. I hike up the ramp once again and slide open the door to the bait shed. The smell is overwhelming. And for a second I think my nose is going to fall off. Then I embrace the scent of fish soaking in their own juices. And I find a large blackfish tray that says Thibault on top and a barrel that says wharf. Then I begin to shovel the small lifeless fish into the tray. My dad always says, the worse it smells, the better the lobsters will like it. Once the tray is half full, I use one of the cold metal hooks hanging on the wall to latch onto it. I haul the tray across the pier, down the ramp, and into the boat. Once the boat is started, we fold up our chairs and push them to the side. I secure the bait as my dad puts the boat in gear. We make our way out of the harbor slowly. We are grateful that the tide is low because we don't have to wait for the bridge that we must go under to go to Ebony Cook, where I set my traps. My dad runs the boat while I fill bait bags. It's impossible to drive a boat because it's lacking wheels on the bottom. That's what my dad says, anyway. We finally pull up to my first buoy and my dad steps back from the wheel. He can't help me anymore. I have to do it all from grab the buoy, hoist the trap onto the rail, and push it back into the deep blue ocean. I step up to the wheel and use the gaff, a long wooden pole with a hook at the end, to reach the white buoy with bright lime green polka dots. It's a pain to paint. All of those, by the way. I hook it by the rope trailing from the bottom. I give myself a pat on the back for not missing it, which I do pretty often. It's low tide, so there's a lot of slack in the line. This makes it easier to pull the rope and lay it over the davy and wrap it into the hauler. I slowly turn on the hauler and mud flies everywhere. The rope is long, so I have just enough time to look around before the trap emerges from the water. I look at the sun still low in the sky and the gold flecks it casts on the water and the bright green vegetation on the shore. Before I know it, there's a loud crash of the trap hitting the side of the boat. I quickly turn off the hauler and grab hold of the rope and the trap. Simultaneously, I release the rope from the hauler with one hand and pull the trap onto the rail with the other. I can barely pull it into the boat, but I do. Then I open the top of the trap and take out the biggest lobsters first. I'm careful not to get pinched in the process. I measure the first one, it's a keeper, so I place it into the bucket. The next one is short, so I drop it back into the ocean, and so on until there are no more lobsters in the trap. I take one last look inside before I close the lid and put the boat in gear. I go a ways looking on the bottom reader for small red lumps indicating rocks on the ocean floor. This is where the lobsters like to hang out. I quickly shove it into the trap into the ocean and throw the buoy in after it. Then I make my way to the next and do it all over again, each time setting them in a straight line. I love nothing more than working hard and being out on the open ocean with my dad. It is something that we have together, and I was really disappointed last summer when we didn't have time to go out. He is a custodian at Southport School, and his wonderful new principal kept him really busy doing maintenance all summer. But that's okay, because this summer I don't care what it takes. I will get out on the water somehow and do this wonderful thing that I can call my passion. There is nothing better than being out on the open ocean and being in control of everything. Or having fun and listening to the stories and techniques from my dad. Or the feeling that I get when I walk, when the deck boy has to look twice when I walk around the corner with a basket full of lobsters and covered in mud from head to toe. As he comes up to ask me whose name to put on the slip, I reply mine. He looks a little surprised at first because I'm a 15-year-old girl in a profession overrun by men. This is what I live for in the summer. This is what I love, though I only wish I could do it more often. Now I am here at CSG, and I am so glad that I have this background to share with the rest of the girls. This is why I am here. This is what drew me here, my love for the ocean and all of its beauty. I have always been a strongly ocean-based person. The first time on the boat, I was only a few weeks old at the blessing of the fleet, a ritual to bless all the boats for another safe fishing season. The ocean has always been my place and always will be.